What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. We're going to jump over to AEW real quick, and we're going to finish this thing out because we're going to have to talk about their Double or Nothing show, which I did not get a chance to see. I didn't get to see no wrestling. I didn't get to see no Saturday Night's Main Event. I didn't get to see no Battleground or no Double or Nothing. And WWE is going to continue to put things in the way of AEW with their big shows. But from what I saw in the card, I was actually excited to see like the finals for the Owen, for the men's and the women's, look really good. And then they had the Anarchy Arena, which is like a tradition now for Double or Nothing. Moxley wasn't in the main event. I'm glad. But we still have problems with it. Like, I like AEW can put on a good show, a pay-per-view, but this thing it was like what, 4 hours and include the pre-show, like 5 or 6 hours. Like, it's too long. And once again, I'm not even mad that their big shows, which is Full Gear, Double or Nothing, all in and all out, and Revolution, be 4 hours. I think big shows have their place, but for some reason, Tony Khan finds a way to have these shows and still have matches on here that I feel as though don't need to be on here. They don't need to be on here at all. So let's just run down the card. We're not getting a detailed review here. I'm just going over, the stuff, and then going over the matches and who won and my thoughts on certain things, because I didn't see any of the pre-show, so we ain't even talking anything about that. But they had the 2025 Women's Owen Hart Cup Tournament Final. The winner goes to face the Women's World Championship at All In. So in other words, this is their King of the Ring going into SummerSlam. Mercedes Moné takes on Jamie Hayter. They had a great match, and they opened the match. They opened the show, and Meteoras and Backstabbers is Mercedes Moné's thing, and this is the first time they ever went against each other. This is like something I heard people say, great value Becky Lynch, because Jamie Hayter. Even I wouldn't put no disrespect on Jamie Hayter like that. Jamie Hayter is phenomenal talent. I am a little bitter though, because in my personal opinion, this should have been Athena. In my personal opinion, I'm gonna tell you why. Because before, I know Tony Khan, and for those out there, that just want to defend AEW, I understand Tony Khan is sitting there doing what I expected him to do, which is to make the biggest match possible. And the biggest match in his eyes is his women's champion Toni Storm. Toni Storm taking on basically, whether they call her Mercedes Hogan or they call her the Belt Collector or whatever you want to call her. That'd be the biggest match. But the problem with that is, I felt as though you could have got more matches out of doing it the other way than just doing it like this. That's my biggest issue. I felt as though with it being in Texas, you could have had Athena and build up a good storyline between Athena and Mercedes Moné for her to have that team to go for that TBS championship. One, it gets Athena out of the Ring of Honor Purgatory, and then she can go here, and then she can go up against Mercedes, have a big match between two talented women, two talented sisters, go up there and have Athena dethrone Mercedes Moné. And that way, it opens the door for Mercedes to go and get the AEW Women's Championship. All this does right here is lock everything the women can fight for up in this match. Because right now, it's like Tony Khan does not do good at booking other women's storylines. So right now, it's like, what other matches are going to be? There can't be another match for the TBS Championship because the TBS Champion is in the match. And for right now, the belts are locked up. I felt Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm have some history, and I figured if you take a minute to build Jamie Hayter back up, Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm could have been a great match at All In, and you could have got Athena and Mercedes. And then down the line, you can even, because y'all love All In, and y'all could have did that, and then even at All Out, y'all could have did Mercedes and Toni Storm, depending on how y'all want to do it. But it's just that now everything is, she has like what, 5 belts now, 5 belts, and she has never lost. So once again, it's like, is she going to win? Like, is she really going to collect everything? And then right now, with her undefeated streak and her trying to go for that longest TBS champion to beat J. Cargill's record, or if she has beaten already, I'm not necessarily sure. If she wins the championship, what's she going to do? You're going to have somebody challenge her for the lesser TBS championship, beat her, but while she's still the AEW, which is supposed to be the top women's championship, have her beat her but keep that championship? No. Usually when that happens, they relinquish that belt, and she should be getting beat for that belt. That's the match is great. It's like, it's going to be a big match, but it bothers me when you have these big shows. You're probably only going to have one women's match on the card, because all your belts and everything else is tied up, unless they're going to try to do a little quick storyline, to help get somebody up on it. Maybe they do like a Willow Nightingale and Marina Shafir, but like, no, it's just not it, and that kind of stuff bothers me. Next, we had a tag team match. FTR, Cash Wheel, and Dax Harwood taking on Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness. Just talking about it. It was fine. It was 22 minutes long. Did it need to be 22 minutes long? No. And that's the problem. Tony Khan wants to make every match on his show feel like a 5-star. Like, he wants to have a greatest hits album every time he does one of his shows, and everything to be a banger, but that causes burnout also. Sometimes you just need to let things, you gotta have some filler, or just not have some things at all, because sometimes less is better, but FTR ended up winning the matchup. Then they called it a stretcher match. It was Ricochet taking on Mark Briscoe in a stretcher match. In reality, it was, you had to put your opponent on the stretcher and then throw him into the ambulance and then close the door. So it's a ambulance match. That's what it is. And some people were saying, why is this on the card? And to be honest with you, I asked a question, and apparently this was the same date or the same time arena where Sabu and RVD had an ambulance or a stretcher match, and Tony Khan wanted to pay tribute to that because Sabu just passed away. Sure. But the match was as brutal as Mark Briscoe and Ricochet. I mean, there was a moment where he grabbed his head and sprayed some disinfectant on it and rubbed his head down, so he had like a little nice shiny head and stuff like that. And, we had the usual spots, the froggy growth off the top rope on the floor through the announce tape, not the announce table, the table set up on the outside. Like, Ricochet and him were like really going in. But here's my thing about this, though. Mark Briscoe, he was like, he was bleeding bad at one point. I forgot what Ricochet hit him with, but he was bleeding bad. And I was like, this sometimes could be a little bit overkill, because like, if you're going to have somebody bleeding this bad in a stretcher match, what you going to say for anarchy in the arena? Cause that's supposed to be your bloody match of the night. But Ricochet ends up winning the matchup. It's a big win for Ricochet. Ricochet ain't had no big wins on a AEW pay-per-view, I think, since debuting there. Like this is the time to really start heating up Ricochet, and you can either put that TNT championship on him, or most likely it's probably going to Kyle Fletcher. He's going to Kyle Fletcher, but you can do something with him other than just, so he beat Mark Briscoe in that ambulance match, so it was warranted. Then they had the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin taking on the Sons of Texas, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. Number one, I hadn't seen Sammy Guevara in a long time. I didn't even know he was a part of Ring of Honor, because I know Dustin Rhodes does the Ring of Honor stuff. And I was like, as much as I want to see the Hurt Syndicate and see everybody out there saying, we heard people, I was like, I don't think that I was like, it needs to be here. Like, y'all need to build up a good rivalry for the Hurt Syndicate to have, and so they can have a decent, a meaningful tag team match on the show. Y'all just giving them Dynamite and Collision matches on these pay-per-views. And much I love them, they don't need to be on here. MJF was out there cheering them on. There was one point where MJF was trying to help out in the match, but ended up kind of screwing over Shelton Benjamin. But he's about to use a Dynamite Diamond ring on, I don't know which one it was. Bobby I think on Dustin Rhodes, and Bobby stopped him, but then he smiled, and then Bobby goes and spears Dustin through the barricade. I was like, I don't know what the point of this was. I think what all roads leads down to this is Bobby Lashley against MJF. It has to lead to that. That's what I'm thinking, but it has to lead to Bobby taking on MJF. However, when is that going to be? I don't know. That could be at full gear towards the end of the year, all out. I'm not necessarily sure, but as of right now, these are meaningless matches for the Hurt Syndicate on here. Then they had the singles match for the AEW Continental Championship, Kazuchika Okada taking on Speedball Mike Bailey. This is a pretty good matchup. Also, Okada was looking like New Japan Okada from back in the day, so it was pretty good. Okada retained, because who really thought Speedball Mike Bailey, and once again, Speedball Mike Bailey has done a good job making me a fan of his. He's did a good job making me a fan of his. But still, he wouldn't win a championship. It's going to be Okada and Omega at all in. It has to be that way. Y'all have teased it. It has to be that way. Honestly, y'all should just merge the championships. To be honest with you, you shouldn't be, the Continental champion and the international championship. No, combine them things. You don't need it. But and once again, that takes up another two matches, because you got two champions in a match together, just like you're going to do for Time Tony Storm and Mercedes. It just ties too much stuff up. So, merge the championships. Then, speaking of Time Tony Storm, she had a match against Mina Sakanawa for the Women's World Championship. She won the championship. You know she was going to win, especially with Mercedes winning the Owens, so you knew Tony Storm was going to win this matchup. At the end, though, she did give Sakanawa a kiss at the end. And I was just like, I don't know that's going to work on Mercedes, but I was saying, but yeah, everybody was like, that woke him up. Then we get to Anarchy in the Arena, which is the staple of Double or Nothing. Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops, which is Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata. And they replaced or subbed in Will Hobbs for Hook. That's going to play into the story later. Against the Death Riders, which is Moxley, Claudio, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. So, everybody comes out. Powerhouse House comes out with a shirt, big, black, and jacked. And Samoa Joe's still not out there. Then the Death Riders come out, and then the Young Bucks come out just like the Founding Fathers. I guess because it's like Memorial Day. Memorial Day weekend. So, I mean, the show ended on fucking Memorial Day. It started on Sunday, and it ended on Memorial Day. But we're not gonna get into that right now. And so they were the Founding Fathers, and Samoa Joe sneaks from behind, and then we have a chaotic brawl. So, once again, these Anarchy in the Arena matches, they said, we're gonna get our New Jack on. So they kept the music playing, and I forgot what's the first song they had on there. The second song was that Kenny Omega turned to the Pointer Sisters. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it, because that was supposed to be the Dynamite theme song. And Tony Khan bought the rights for it. Tony Khan only played that once, and the fans gave backlash like, what the hell is this? Which I agree. Look, as much as I like the Pointer Sisters and I like the song, it don't fit for Dynamite. But he's like, I'm going to get my money here. So he played that, but then Kenny Omega was like, no, you know what? Cut all that. We going to do it early 2000 style. And then they had, let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. They had the bodies hit the floor, and then everybody was going high. I was like, okay. I'm feeling that. So then, once again, I told y'all it's not a breakdown of the whole time match. You can't do that. It's impossible to do that with these Anarchy in the Arena matches. But once again, they were fighting all over the arena. Marina Shafir and Willow Nightingale, Thicky was all fighting in the back, and they had a part in the matchup, like they was diving off the bear, it had the little landing thing. Kenny Omega dives off, and then a couple other people dive off, and like I said, it's Anarchy everywhere. Now, once again, the song just kept on playing. It looped like about 5-6 times, and in the back, Claudio did the big swing to Swerve and threw him right into a speaker. And then when he threw him into the speaker, all of a sudden the music just stopped. So, and I was like, that one speaker is what caused the music to stop, but he threw him right into the speaker. I thought it was kind of funny, though. I know I saw you spit it and did not like it, but it was kind of funny to me. On the stage, the Nick and Matt was about to do the You're Dead, I think it's called, to Powerhouse House, but then Prince Nana drives Swerve out on a forklift, and he comes out and does a double foot stomp to off that to Nick and Matt Jackson on the stage. That was dope. And also, Swerve got a new sneaker out there. Low key, I kind of want that new sneaker. Then Hiccup, they had the staple gun thing, and they, Swerve just doing all this type of staple gun type thing, and then they had a thing where they stapled Swerve's tongue. I didn't care for that. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I don't even see any of that kind of stuff like that. But it was just the sake of being, just for doing it. Hook returns in an orange hoodie and takes out one of the members of the Death Riders. And Samoa Joe sees him. He reveals to her. He's like, "Oh, come on, join us." But then all of a sudden, he was just like, "Nah." There's still beef between Hook and Samoa Joe, apparently. But the match still ain't in there because even when they start fighting back, they go back and fight. Who was it? I forgot who the guy was that came and caused disruption during the matchup. And he goes back to get the ambulance, but then Mark Briscoe comes out of nowhere and takes out Claudio and Wheeler Yuta, and he fights. It's going to come to me who this guy was. It really is. My memory is blanking right now. And we got it. K Omega hits a one-wing angel doing exploding table. Yes, an exploding table. We always got something that explodes on these Anarchy arenas. And then Swerve has his new shoes on with the thumbtacks at the bottom of it and does a Swerve stomp to, I think, one of the elite members, whether Matt or Nick Jackson, and wins the matchup. And so it honestly, for all the chaos that it was still a good Anarchy in the arena. I can't even get mad at that. I can't even get mad. It was still good Anarchy in the arena. So now, however, once again, there's certain spots that I needed. No, and this is where Tony Khan messed up at, because after that he does a trios match. The Don Callis family, Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander taking on Paragon, which I don't know why he changed their name, which is basically the Undisputed Kingdom, which is basically the Undisputed Era, which is Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and Adam Cole. It was boring. Like, you didn't need this here. Put that on Collision. Like, put that. You can't follow that. And I guess that was like, well, here goes your break time for the main event. It didn't matter. Don Callis family wins anyway. Then the main event, which was Hangman, Adam Page against Will Ospreay. These guys went out there and tore the house down. They went out there and tore the house down. I thought, like, at first I was like, this is Will Ospreay's match to win. But then, as I see Hangman make it to the finals, and I was like, they're going to Texas. It got to go to Hangman. But they had an awesome ass matchup. Main event, like that out of all the matches is worth going out there and seeing. I can't go spot for spot once again because I didn't see the fully out there, but they took some risks there and it was good. But Hangman wins the Owen, and he's going to face Moxley in Texas for the championship. It feels right now. Here's my thing. Will they give it to him? Because Darby made it to the top of Mount Everest. The motherfucker made it. I mean, coming down is the hard part, but the motherfucker made it. So, is Tony Khan waiting for Darby Allin to come back, and since he made his descent, can he come back and win the championship? Well, it sounds like a good story, but honestly, Hangman winning in Texas sounds better to me. And right now, All In is their WrestleMania show. And I do think that if Tony Khan ever gets his shit together, I think that, how WrestleMania does 2 nights, I really think that they may adapt that with All In and All Out. Like, night 1 be All In and night 2 be All Out, and that be like that whole WrestleMania weekend type thing. Because I look at Double or Nothing, even though I can't go by the order, I look at Double or Nothing like their SummerSlam. That's how I look at their Double or Nothing. I look at All In and all and stuff like that, I look at that as their WrestleMania. Their big stadium shows that they try to do for stadium every year. And we're gonna go in Texas in that baseball stadium. It's gonna be like 40,000 people. You come on, you gotta have Hangman win that, because that if Moxie wins again, it's like, when do we do a Darby Allin? Like, you don't do Darby Allin win a championship on Forbidden Door. You don't do it on All Out. You do it at a big moment like this. And Darby can come. You can still have Darby come back and get his revenge on Moxley, or whatever the case may be. But I don't know. Darby win the championship. I'm glad he made the Mount Everest. I just want him to come down too. I want him to be safe coming down, because I know it's harder coming down than it is going up. And so right now we still haven't had no word. So I'm going to assume that things are going. His descent is going all right. You know, again, an update. I'm hoping for that. So we got to keep our fingers crossed for that. But still, I don't think you should wait for that. I think what you should do is just give the moment to Hangman in Texas in front of, if they can get 40,000, 20,000, 30,000 people, give him that moment and end this Death Rider shit. End it. So, I didn't get a chance to see Dynamite this past Wednesday, in the Wednesday afterwards. So, but I'm going to check it out this Wednesday. But I wanted to make sure I did talk about Double or Nothing and how I felt, about how the show went and things like that.